And I think we're live. All right. So pretty much what I'm going to be doing is breaking down a couple of trade opportunities that we had on UJ, EJ, and EU. That's dollar versus the yen, euro versus the yen, and euro versus the dollar. First one is UJ, which I kind of took a buy opportunity on based on this up move right here and this retest of structure. I guess I'll start from a, I don't know if I want to go from like a clean chart. But I think blue. I guess I'll start from a clean chart and then work my way down. All right, so here we have UJ. What I usually do is I start from a weekly time frame and then work my way up, and I kind of see like where price is pretty much trending to. First thing I notice is this break of structure to the upside right here. Oh, I'll move this. Let's put that down there. I'll move my favorite bar up. You got a break of structure here. That was your previous. This was potentially a higher high. I don't know if you count this as a break of structure to the upside. Well, it was a higher high based on this overall projection of this break of structure up to the upside, which gave me some type of bullish bias to UJ. And as you can see, it kind of came back down and was sitting on this level for weeks now. For a couple weeks now, I want to say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, almost 2 months. And if we go down to the daily, we can see how this, price. This, a lot of people call this like a breakout. Truthfully, this really wasn't a breakout. This was honestly a retest, and it gave you an engulfing up, which was kind of like a respective structure that price didn't want to push back down there to that level. And you can also see it with these exhaustion candles. If I just put like an exhaustion zone here, you can really see how price play around that area. Center back. Movement is very slow. All right, so let's close some of these tabs out. I just have one tab open. Excuse my dogs in the background. But yeah, that gave me an overall bullish bias for UJ that I wanted to be in for a buy. And where did I want to be in at? I got it at 110.9, which was in this area of exhaustion. And as you can see, I'm actually throw some moving averages up here on the weekly. The 8 and the 18. 8 over the 18 was being maintained on the weekly and also on the daily. Even though you had this bearish movements, price wasn't yet bearish until we had a break below this area. Official break that you can see like on a higher time frame, specifically like the weekly and this daily gave you kind of like false momentum that UJ was breaking down, but you understand price action, you understood that this was just a retest of this level, and price played around it as well. And pretty much my entry reasons was pretty much like a strong PRZ level. And how do I define my PRZ levels? It contains support and resistance. So this higher time frame support and resistance, which was this red random line you can see here. Price action, which includes trend lines, exhaustion zones, and breaks of structure and retests on lower time frames. So trend lines. I think we did have a trend line situation on UJ. I don't know if it was on this swing low. Yeah. I'm actually go like kind of like right there. I'm gonna go by this wick and this wick. You see how price engulfed off this trend line and then came right back down to this trend line situation. For a buy opportunity, and also drew a fib from my swing low to my swing high on a higher time frame. I actually like line this back up. Oh, it's already lined up. Came back down to this 50 to 61.8% Fibonacci retracement level, and gave you like I said, some stutter. We actually dropped down to like a 4-hour. So we start getting to like the lower time frames to see how can we get into this buying opportunity. And a lot of people call this a breaker structure. To me, this really wasn't a breaker structure. Again, just an engulfing of that zone. To me, right here was definitely strong indication that this market had, bullish potential. So before all of this happened, it looked kind of like this, and then it kind of gave you a retest. So I'm actually dropped down to the 60. Just so you guys, I think we're pretty much done with the 4-hour time frame. We got a bullish engulfing. There's a bullish engulfing variation to the upside. Then we got kind of like a doji where it sat there. That's when we got our retest on the lower time frame for a potential entry to the upside. I'm gonna drop down to a 60 so you can really kind of like see these minor breaks of structures and then these retests. Our first minor break of structure was here. Pretty much there. I'm actually show this on just the daily time frame or the 4-hour. Let's actually do just the 4-hour. You do know price is still within the zone, so it's really no need for you to kind of like see it on these lower time frames, such as the 1 hour and the 4-hour, the 1 hour and the 60-minute and the lower time frames. And I pretty much drag another random line across this little minor structure right here where price kind of pushed down and then pushed back up and then pushed back down again where it broke structure to the downside. This was actually an area of minor structure resistance, turned support when it came back down to that area. And what we pretty much do is we grab another fib. So I think this was a 61.8. So I'm actually going to 78.6, which is not bad at all either. I'm just draw like a line. That was a 78.6. Change the color. Let's do blue. And I'm gonna label this as 78.6. 78.6 retracement. Make this a bit smaller. I'm gonna put it inside of that zone. Switch it back and lock. And let's delete this because I really don't want to have like a lot of lines. You kind of forget what lines are what. So I just zoned that with where that 78.6% retracement landed. We kind of got that wick to the downside. Now, looking at this minor structure resistance break, I'm looking for price to come back down into this zone and give me some type of entry confirmation that it wants to respect this zone to the upside. And I usually look for those on like the 15-minute, 30-minute time frames where you want to, where you could clearly see that price is respecting this area. So price actually looked at something like this before I got in this buying opportunity. And you look for the same exact thing, engulfing patterns to the upside, bullish momentum. That is a clear indication of the market, wanting to push to the upside. You get very aggressive push down and then very aggressive push up, and it gives you these engulfing patterns. So you see, this was the 4-hour engulfing that I marked with a red rectangle. We also have we actually had a 15-minute engulfing pattern on a smaller time frame at that same level of resistance turn support. And like I said, you got two ways to kind of like play this market. You can get in at the close, or you can wait for a retest. I kind of wait for the retest back down to that level because it gives you better stop placements and better entry. And my entry is at 110,900. So when it got back down there, as you can see, it kind of like gave you a double bottom pattern and ended up just rallying back out of that zone. And you want to line that up with like a fib. So you just grab your fib from swing low to swing high and see if it's at a major Fibonacci level, which was the 38.2% retracement, which is like your optimal level for this price to give you trend continuation back to the upside after you got your minor break of resistance. So again, you could have set a limit to get in here. I actually got it manually, but you can, like I said, set a limit to get in here, or just pretty much held your entry from here. But pretty much after that, it just rallied right pretty much out of that area and hit my targets, which was, if we go back to the 4-hour time frame. I honestly wanted to play this by the last swing high, which you go by your visual eye. This was my last swing high to swing low, my last impulse leg for that push down. And my targets were pretty simple. I got out at the 61.8, which was my target 1. 78.6 was my target 2. 88.6 is my target 3. So now we're at these highs up here, where again, I'm not really looking for sales, but I understand that price can give us another drop to the downside off these highs and give us bearish. See if sellers want to enter the markets at these highs, because again, the same way price doesn't want to break down, it also doesn't want to break up on higher time frames. And I feel like that level of resistance comes in like right about I actually like use a line chart for like clear support and resistance areas. So I should go to like a 4-hour. Let's see if we can find something in a 4-hour. $111.8. Let's say $111.8. Or $111.7. I'm lining up from right here, right there, and then right here. We got a kind of like bounces. Like $111.8. Oh, it's 111. What is it? 111.6. I'm sorry. What's the high on this one? 111.8. Close 111.7. All right, so let's just say 111.7. Again, at this price, they kind of like respect this area. So I kind of wanted to be out before we get possible another turnaround point for UJ. That's pretty much it. I'm gonna go to Euro JPY. I'm only gonna put this all in one video because UJ already played out. I was supposed to make this video on Monday, which was yesterday, but I kind of got caught up with some things. I'm gonna be doing these every week, every week, every trade, just giving you my overall analysis on how I view these pairs and pretty much my entry reasons for why I'm into the trade. So I'm currently long on EJ as well. I feel like EJ didn't give it. I'm sorry, I'm short. Oh, I'm bugging. So I'm actually short on EJ for a selling opportunity. Again, I'm gonna just rebuild this trade from scratch, so you can kind of see, what's going on and how I got into this selling opportunity. So again, I'm gonna start top down. Top down, I go from the weekly. On the weekly, I price the EMAs and SMAs are maintained to the downside. We got blue on the red, which pretty much indicates that they are more bearish than bullish in the market. That's all I pretty much look for. And then on top of that, this overall market structure is price making lower lows and lower highs. So I see a breaker structure there. I won't really call this a breaker structure because price did engulf below that zone. But our last pretty much lower high for me to be even looking for, bulls is there and also there. Price pushed down, pushed up, pushed down, pushed up, pushed down, pushed up, pushed down, retesting this area to continue its way back down. And on the daily, you can kind of see how that plays, you know, apart and where price is currently. So price is just sitting there, and on the daily, how many more hours we got left? 2 hours before this candle closes on this mean exhaustion wick candle to the upside, which indicates, you know, buying exhaustion. Buyers are getting exhausted. We should see some trend continuation back down from this pair. That's pretty much it. Price kind of found resistance in this little area right here. Just put like a box. Kind of see where price respected it. Came up there, and then we're finally starting to see some lower lows and lower highs on a smaller time frame. So if I was to drop down to 4 hour, you can clearly see these, you know, these breaks. I'll actually make my random lines blue now just to kind of color coordinate what's going on in these time frames. We got a break of minor there, break retest. We have another one here. And we have our last level coming in right down here, our last level of resistance. So I'm kind of looking forward to price to break down and keep going. And our last level of, this is our last level of support. This is our last level of resistance, which I'm not looking for price to break up and keep going high. And it's showing you on this 4 hour time frame that it doesn't want to do that. These candles indicate, you know, again, buying exhaustion. You can clearly see it on the 4 hour. Like I said, that price doesn't want to, you know, push above these highs and make new higher highs, because again, price is, to me, is bearish. Last but not least, we go down to the 60-minute. And we also had a trend line situation, which I'm gonna kind of adjust. I'm actually still on this 4 hour time frame just to kind of show you guys what I'm talking about. So I'm gonna grab my trend line and go from point A to point B. That's one that I can clearly see. And if I go on the daily, I kind of like, trend lines are very subjective, but I kind of look for something to be around that area. You know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna keep that like that, only because it's still a trend line situation. So you had your trend line bounce up here, and then it's kind of like, you know, starting to flow back down. It doesn't necessarily have to line in where you're getting in at, but just know that price started to make lower lows and lower highs out of that pretty much trend line situation area. So that can that's another indication you can look to see that price is in a downtrend. And your next level of pretty much your PRZ would be just structure. Understand that this was right here, this red line is daily structure. And you wait for the same thing. So you wait for a breakdown of minor resistance on a smaller time frame. And I feel like we got our break. There are 2 areas, and I'm gonna count. And the only reason I'm gonna count these as minor areas because they are minor. They are minors that line up with majors. So right here we got a hiccup. This was definitely a hiccup at a major area of pretty much structure, which is this red line, where price pushed up, a hiccup, gave you some type of pause, and then kept going up. And then we also had one right below it, which is right here. Which pretty much indicated to me, like, this wasn't really a break and close. I wasn't going to use this one because we didn't have a break and then a break and close. This one was a break. Oh, yes, we did. I'm sorry. I take that back. So we had a break and close, which indicated to me that price is going to retrace back into these levels and give me some type of entry reason to go short, or at or around 129,300. Pretty much where I have my entry at now. And we're getting pretty much some type of drawdown. Stops go above our last previous level of resistance on a higher time frame, which is here. My stops are above here, around 130 flat, 130 flat. Price goes all the way up here. We can look to see higher highs and higher lows. I don't want to be in the market. Get me out. But I do save me some space for kickback. I call it kickback, where price can come up here, retest this area, and then keep going down and give us like some type of double top pattern. But yeah, so I got it short here, and we're gonna see our retrace. And right here is where we pretty much got that engulfing pattern. Two ways to enter this market. You can either enter at the close. The close of this engulfing pattern, or wait for it to retrace back into this area, which it did. So again, price rejected this area, clear rejection, showed to me that, you know what, maybe this is the area we can look to see some type of, you know, pushback down. Price is currently retracing up. Again, price can give you something like this. So I saved me enough room for price to do whatever it wants to do, but just because I enter here doesn't mean I'm necessarily wrong. It just wasn't that area within that lower high, which is pretty much from here to here. Let me move this down. And then move this back over. All right. So that's perfect. And you can see where that 88.6% lines up right with previous structure resistance. We can kind of see like a double top in formation to continue its way down. And I sold down here at the 38.2%. So maybe this is not the level that I can turn around. So I can turn around here, can turn around here, can turn around here. It's still within this area. So I'm gonna be holding this, and I'm gonna pretty much keep y'all updated on how this EJ trade plays out throughout the week. Last but not least was Euro, which I'm actually shorting as well. Jump back out to the weekly. Pretty much delete, scratch all of this. Boom. Same thing I look for on every other pair is the same thing I look for in Euro. My bias is short. Why? Because the EMA SMAs are maintaining on higher time frames to the downside, and pricing is making lower lows and lower highs. So right here was a lower low, lower high. Our last previous level of support, it broke down, turned resistance. We also had a break here, which price maintained on the weekly time frame, where you pushed up, pushed back down, pushed up, pushed down, pushed up, pushed down, pushed up again to this weekly level of minor resistance, major resistance, however you want to look at it, and then continue. And pretty much I'm looking for it to continue its way down, back off this retest of minor structure resistance from the weekly chart. We actually have another one here where it's at currently. So let's not ignore this as well, which is there. And this actually a little bit higher there. This is, the line chart is golden right here. So you see the push down, you see the retest, you see the retest of this low, see the retest of this high, information, break, retest, clear retest, drop, information. How do we get in this market on the lower time frames? Let's see. So again, I'm actually short, and I think we kind of did maybe on a lower time frame the trend line opportunity. That's one of the things I look for in every trade is we have some type of trend line situation. You see we have one there. I'm short at 1 dot. Ooh, that's a good one. Where's my entry? Let me pull this up real quick. 1.16. Damn, I got a good entry. So I'm actually short here at 1.16 flat. Go back up to the daily. What are we looking for? Now, if this is another one to me, so how do I calculate? Well, if the SMEs and MAs aren't maintaining on the daily how do I calculate like bearish sentiment in the market? What I do is I add a 50 moving average. I'm sorry, this is actually supposed to be a 50 exponential moving average. So let me just fix this really quick. So again, the main thing I look for is if the 8 and the 18 SMAs aren't maintaining, I'll look for just the 18 to be below the 50 EMA on that daily, which indicates it's still some type of bearish sentiment in the market, although you had an up push that gave you a false indication of there being some, not necessarily false indication, but the market is still bearish. And as you can see, the 18, which is red, moving average, moving average is below the 50 exponential moving average, which to me still indicates some type of bearish sentiment in the market. And again, you confirm that with just your overall views on how you look at, again, structure. So what can the naked eye see as where the market is going? Same thing, structure breaks. Is price making lower lows and lower highs? To me, that was my last level of sorry about that. But yeah, we had our last break, which came in around right here, and then we had kind of like a steep retracement, which is nothing but nonstop, just bullish markets, bullish push, bullish. But to me, price was not bullish on euro until it broke above these highs here. This high here, which is a major level that I can clearly see on a weekly time frame. And it got up to that level, and then it just started to fall again. Gave us, some retracements, and it just started this fall from, I want to say, these highs on the 4 hour. We got a retracement. Again, try to push up. Boom, clear break of structure to the downside off this minor level of support, which is now turning resistance, which is where I entered this market short. And we go down to the 60. You can kind of see, where was I looking at this market? I was looking at it when the price was like this. I was actually short at 1.16, but I'm trying to understand why. Did we get engulfing? I think we got engulfing. It's the only reason I would look at it short. Oh yeah, that's actually those good. These time frames, they kind of help you out a little. So to me, I was short when I seen this. That to me was, a bearish sentiment in the market at this level. And as you can see, price immediately gave you a strong push up, very strong push. But again, if you understand price action, you can know that these candles, this is just a one big ass engulfing on a higher time frame. So I'll actually start from like right here. It's just one big ass engulfing. You get a fast move up and a fast move back down. Which technically, if you want to get technical, this was just a retest of this level. Can't really call it. It's a break on a smaller time frame. On a higher time frame, since it's the 4 hour, this was not a break of structure. Not a break of structure. So it's a double top. This is a double top where you get a push up, push down, push up, retest of this level, push back down. So it's kind of funny how, price could kind of like fake you out. I could have been, trying to get out my trade here prematurely. But I'm starting to learn is just like you hold off. Just hold off. Price is going to do exactly what you wanted to do. Just give it some room. Give it some room. I can't make a daily. If I'm going down from top down, I'm going down from a weekly, I'm going down to a daily, and I'm going down to a 4 hour, to a 60 minute, to a 15 minute. I cannot base a 15-minute trade off a weekly trade. Trade the weekly trade as a daily trade, treat the daily as like you gotta take all time frames into effect. This market is gonna do what you want it to do, but understanding time frames is very crucial. So again, price gave us this information and then the strong back down, push back down below this level here, which is respecting. So again, I'm looking for Euro to just give us a nice fall to these levels down here. So I'm looking for, so my target projections, again, from swing low to swing high. Target 1, I got in at 1.16. So that'll be right here. Target 1, I think I'm taking to the 50. Target 2 to the 61.8. Blue, shut up! Go the fuck in the key. Go in the key. Go in the carriage. All right. And then target 3 to the 78.6%. That's 83, 132, 207. Major pips. Let's add all those up. So again, swing trades can give you a large amount of pips. A large amount of pips if you can understand, just patience and holding through all the bumps and just letting it just ride out. So that's 207, 132, 83. 207 plus 132 plus 83. That's 400 pips. Major pips. And literally that can happen in this week. And I don't see why it wouldn't. Why we can't have, at least 2 of our targets pay out. My risk, literally, you go the opposite way. So I'm entering here at 1.16. My stops are above previous levels of resistance. I'm sorry, it's actually above this high right here. So let me drop down really quick. 240. My stops, they're very tight because again, if you take now in terms of like where you want to get out at, if price is making high highs, I would say at least on a 4-hour, that indicates to me that price is not going to respect this level. It's going to keep going up. So I can base my targets off of daily, but I can base my stops off a smaller time frame. So I'm kind of mitigating my loss, but I'm maximizing my gains. So my stops are actually going to go above these previous highs here, this previous level of resistance here, and that's for around about 70 pips. I'll put it at 1.167 flat. 70, I have 3 trades open. That'll be 70 times 3. That's 210. I think, right? Bad with math. 210. Damn, what was the last? I think the last one was 422. Now, how do you calculate risk to reward? This is crucial right here. So if I'm risking 210 pips to gain 422 pips, so you do 210 divided by 422. I'm sorry, the other way around. 422 divided by 210. That gives you a 2-to-1 risk to reward profile. I mean, that means what that translates to is I'm risking 1 to gain 2. I take that over any day, and that's pretty much it. So let's see how these trades really play out throughout the week. Keep you guys updated and get back to you.